Welcome to the PFB podcast from the Personal Finance Society, a place for thought-provoking discussion on the world of financial planning and beyond. I'm Vilma Marks, Outreach Program Manager at the PFS. In this episode, we'll explore the broad range of volunteering opportunities available to PFS members, the benefits of volunteering, and how you can get involved. Before we get into the episode, a quick note that we want to hear from you, our listeners. What questions you would like answered and what would like to hear more about. Email us at podcasts@thepfs.org. That's podcasts, plural, at thepfs.org. On with today's show. I'm joined by Rob Boland, Tim Brienza, and Kerry Houghton. Hello to you all, and thank you for joining me on the podcast today. To start, could you tell our listeners how you first got involved in volunteering with the PFS? Tim, shall we start with you?
For me, I got to know the chairman mostly through the work we do in the industry anyway. So the chairman worked for an investment management company and I'd known him for probably 6 or 7 years now. And recently I've started doing a little bit more outside of just my role as an advisor. That kind of coincided with setting up on my own and wanting to expand my, I guess, just varying up a little bit about what I do. There's an element of my job as an advisor that is quite, it's quite structured, and there's lots of different things that I wanted to achieve from this career, and luckily it allows you to do that. And one of them is trying to have some sort of impact on the younger generation. We spend a lot of time advising largely older people with wealth. And for me, that's not my background. That's not where I've come from. And so there was always a part of me that wanted to try and use the skills that I've built through the 10 years of doing this to give some of that back. And working with the PFS allowed me to focus on what I wanted to try and achieve was target younger advisors and put on some more events for them. Trying to bring more people into the profession was something I really wanted to do. So I've also joined the PFS New Gen program, which is our main project. And yeah, I started working on the committee, put on some events. We did a really successful one a couple of weeks ago for younger advisors, specifically on soft skills and helping them to develop that. And I really enjoyed being a part of it. It was only literally this morning we had another meeting, and I'm going to step up a little bit and become a co-chair for our area. So a little bit more responsibility along with a couple of others, which I'm looking forward to as well. But it was essentially just through a contact, and that's sort of snowballed from there really.
That's brilliant. How about you, Kerry?
Yeah, I got roped in. I think the expression is voluntold. Many years ago, I'm fairly well known around the PFS regional conferences. As a business development manager, you do tend to be well known, and people knew that was already a volunteer with the Scouts. And as the PFS brought out my personal finance skills program targeting young people, somebody kind of said, well, this has got your name on it, Kerry. You know, you're involved with young people, bringing young people on. So that's how I was roped in. The mantra of Scouts is, of course, #skills for life, which is absolutely what this program does. And I've been at it 9-10 years now, currently acting chair. But it's a really important part of what I do.
Brilliant. Robert, how about you?
Probably a little bit similar to Kerry. I was just an attendee at PFS Roadshow all the way back in 2019. And I got talking to George, who was the sort of previous leader of my personal finance skills program. And it became apparent that was an area that I might be able to help in. Very quickly was approached to then join the Birmingham PFS committee and outreach ambassador. And I went down to a lovely meeting in Bristol to meet everyone else. And from there, it became almost something I really wanted to do and try and use that experience I've got over my career to give back to the profession and, go and speak to young people about why finance is important and what careers that might lead to for them as well.
That is fantastic. And I'm sure it resonates with a lot of our volunteers, if not all of them. So moving on, can you tell us about your experience as a volunteer? And have you found this has been useful in expanding your experience and networks? Robert, we might as well start with you.
Yeah, so I suppose my experience goes all the way back to 2019. Very quickly, I got into schools and colleges within the West Midlands area, presented the sort of board game that we used to do, which obviously was the, if you like, opening skill set that we wanted people to learn about how to manage their risk, how to manage their finances. And then from there, I just wanted to do more and more sessions. So as they came available, the PFS contacted me. I'd sort of made myself quite available to go into schools and colleges. And then during COVID, it became actually quite a unique opportunity to speak to more schools and colleges because we had a little bit more time. So I think it's given me confidence in presenting. It's given me a confidence at speaking to young people. And I've took that skills into presenting into rooms full of fellow professionals. I speak at a lot of PFS regional roadshows. I'm not afraid to get on the stage and talk to them about this wonderful program that we have. And yeah, it's also led me to become well known sort of within the PFS, within the CII. And I've sat on both the regional councils for the CII and also the PFS. And I've been very lucky to be rewarded as education champion and current champion of change for last year. So it's had some real big benefits to me personally. But the biggest thing I've got from it is that ability to speak to people.
Fantastic. And Kerry, can you tell us a bit about your experience as well as whether this expanded your networking?
Yeah, sure, Vilma. As a business development manager, obviously talking to other financial planners and other people in the sector is really important. It's part of my job. And it's just another way that I can actually get to meet people. And what you often find is people that volunteer are very like-minded. So it's been great. Instead of maybe having lunch with an IFA, I can drag them along to a school to do a presentation. It's good networking and it's good for all. It's also allowed me, like Robert said, to improve my presentation skills and deal with those real curveball questions. I mean, SIP and SAS can be a bit geeky, but there's nothing more frightening than a bunch of teenagers staring at you. And some of those questions that come up are absolutely hilarious. So what I would say to anybody considering it, if that is a bit daunting, then just bob along with one of the existing volunteers and find out what it's all about.
Sounds really, really good and a lot of fun as well. And Tim, finally to you.
Very similar to what both Rob and Kerry have said there. I mean, getting to meet some like-minded people has been amazing because you don't know they're out there until you just put yourself out there a little bit. So last year when I joined on with the Education Champion program, all of a sudden I started speaking to, I had a catch up with Rob not too long ago, and we started talking about what ideas we both had for the different things we wanted to do and change within the industry. And it just opens up this whole network of people that, I knew they were out there, but this was the in for me to start having these conversations that actually meant quite a lot to me, as well as just obviously our day-to-day job, we're all busy. But this is kind of a bit more like a passion project. And I've got good energy for it. And I've really enjoyed meeting all of the different people that are involved. And likewise, building presentation skills. There's nothing quite like sitting in front of a whole year of school children aged 13 to 14. It really does a good job in preparing you for those curveball questions because anything can come out of them. And it's actually a lot of fun. That was another part of it that I wasn't expecting. I wanted there to be some sort of mission behind this, like a personal sort of cause, but I was not expecting to have as much fun as I have done when I'm going into schools and speaking to the students. It's I never had myself down as someone who wanted to be a teacher or work in schools, but I've enjoyed it far more than I thought I would.
Oh, that sounds so amazing. And knowing all three of you and having worked with all three of you, I can attest to that, definitely. Kerry, let's start with you on this one. What other benefits are there to volunteering?
I think it's the biggest kept secret, really, Vilma. The endorphins you get from volunteering, it's just like exercise. I'm actually leaving this podcast to go up to the Lake District to jump in Westwater because I'm in training for the Great North Swim with my friend, raising money for her husband's trust fund who passed away suddenly last year. I think that's quite important because I think actually that's the point. If you volunteer in one area, you probably volunteer in another. I remember attending or helping George at one of the PFS festivals with a presentation on this. And he asked the room how many people had more than one volunteer post. And it was over half, really. And that's because actually, when we think about it, we all prefer the act of giving rather than receiving. And that's what you're doing with volunteering. You're just helping to build the future. And young people are absolutely at the centre of that. And for me, our profession is so important. So I get lots of benefits out of volunteering with the PFS and the local institutes.
Thank you. Tim, what other benefits do you think you've seen with volunteering?
Plenty. I mean, I gave this question a bit of thought earlier. It's from different areas of volunteering. So I volunteer with the local committee. I volunteer with the Education Champion Programme. I'm part of the New Generation Programme. So throwing myself quite in the last 12 months within the PFS's various different networks. And they've all given me something different. And I think from the committee side of things, putting on events that I think really upskill individuals within our profession, I get so much satisfaction from. We had one the other day and we had everyone in the room stood up in four corners of the room as we were going through sort of the behavioural training and understand people's different characteristics. And everyone was just laughing and having a lot of fun. But the feedback afterwards was that everybody took a lot and learned from it. And I thought, that's great. You know, that's something that I did and put together and organised, and everyone's taken something from that. And for me, that's brilliant. You know, I think if we can improve individual skills as well as the things that we're doing with the education program and getting the word out there that our profession has got individuals that can help and educate younger people. It's something I hear a lot that, you know, oh, we don't teach anything in schools about money. Well, we're trying. And I know that there's still a lot of work to be done there, but the more people that we can educate leaving school, the better off we'll be as a society. I think financial education is absolutely critical. So I've jumped around a few different areas there of the benefits. But yeah, I think what I'd advise anybody to do is just try it. I think someone might pick one or two of the things that I've done and enjoy those and enjoy other things less, but just try things. You'll be surprised at what you get out of it.
So one of the roles available for volunteering is the Regional Education Outreach Ambassador. Why would you say this role is so vital for the program and potentially the profession? Robert, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity because it allows you to be the spokesperson for your region to talk about why this program has some of the benefits that both Kerry and Tim have touched on as well. This program is designed to try and help us change the perception of financial services and get young people involved in conversations, which will only improve probably quite a lot of society issues as well. So I think there's a massive importance to the role. And if we can get that right, then the impact will be, I think it'd be quite profound as well. Just touching on that sort of last question a little bit more, the benefits from being the, if you like, the ambassador, it opens up opportunities to go along and meet fellow professionals at PFS events you might never have heard of. So as an example, I went to the Lady Mayor show in London last year, and I got to meet so many regional volunteers that I would never have had the opportunity to meet. And we were all talking about the education program. We were collaborating with the Bank of England and other financial institutes that were down there on the day. And it is that brilliant opportunity you might not get from volunteering, and you might not get from being an ambassador, which maybe gets you in the door a little bit more to talk about why you feel this program is important.
Thank you. And Kerry, over to you.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely vital. I mean, as I've already said, young people and the profession are really core to me. And the Education Outreach Ambassador, that's what we do. One of the things I absolutely love is being able to identify a school that wants a presentation and maybe knowing an ex-pupil or knowing some advisors who have got children in that school and dragging them along with me or volunteering them that they are going to help. And it's great because it's just a much, much closer connection than we would have otherwise if I just went in on my own. It's about putting people together and trying to grow, people's financial education right way across the board. It fascinates me how young people will interact with the profession going forwards. One of the reasons I got involved as well was I've got two boys who are now 22 and 25, but then they were somewhat younger, starting out in their careers, starting out at university, having to learn about car insurance, having to learn about budgeting, being signed up to the pension. They're both maxed out. That's all I'm going to say. They get that maximum employer contribution, and they tell all their friends as well. It's so important. And as you know, Vilma, it doesn't stop with me at schools either. There isn't a scout in Charlotte Richard that hasn't got their money skills badge. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, that sounds so good. It's really, really important, and I can tell it from both of you. Tim, what would you say about the regional education outreach ambassador role and how vital that role is for your region?
Yeah, it is critical, and I think it's also an opportunity to be part of something a little bit bigger than yourself. To be able to do it as part of a team, like Rob and Kerry both said. Be able to pull in like-minded volunteers who also want to contribute to this much bigger cause than what is just our own sort of wishes, and that is improving the perception of our industry is one thing, but also deeper than that is trying to build up everybody's understanding and education of personal finance skills. And that is something that we've earmarked within the PFS New Generation program as something we're looking to target. And one thing I've loved about going into schools and speaking to them, it's so different from dealing with clients. I'm sure we've all had experiences where we've dealt with clients, and one of the biggest challenges we have is actually trying to change their mindset around how they think about money. It's completely the opposite when you're dealing with students. It's almost in front of your eyes. You can see how malleable they are to the ideas you're giving them, and helping them to create habits from that age obviously it's easier the earlier you start. So you feel like in real time you could potentially be altering the direction of someone's life, and it gives me such a buzz to think that you've made a difference, even if it's a couple of people in a room of 100. And I don't think that can be understated. I don't think that's not fluff. That's actually happening, and you can see it, and then you get the responses from them. And this program and these roles just allow all that to happen.
Thank you. And finally, if there is anything you'd like to say to someone that is considering volunteering, what would those words be?
I think it's really simple. I think just do it. I think if you've got a propensity to help, and I think our industry generally, I think that's one of the traits that we're very good at. Everyone's very helpful, and I've found nothing but guidance and advice from so many different people who have already been involved in this program. And just signing up, all of a sudden it opens you to all these different people. Everyone's willing to help. And so I think just do it. Just try it. And you'll be really surprised at the things that you enjoy as opposed to maybe what you go into it looking for.
Thank you. Kerry?
Well, without sounding like an advert for Nike, I was exactly the same. Just do it. Become a helper, smiler, and inspirer. It's so rewarding.
And Robert?
Yeah, probably going to echo that as well. It is just take part, give it a go, because I've just found it to be one of the best things and highlights of a working week sometimes. It is such a difference to what we can be doing on a day-to-day basis. But the impact you feel when you get through to those students. I have a lot of questions off teachers as well. So we don't just get through to students. We often get through to teachers. We've gone a bit further, and obviously myself and you have talked about this film, and we've gone into community areas such as retirement villages. We've gone into peer-to-peer groups to do these sessions. So this small program that you might feel, I'm a bit nervous about going into a school, just embrace it, because it can lead to a big community effect. And as a business, we are well known for going in now to deliver these sessions and adding value to our local community. So don't be afraid to sign up, just please do it. And as Tim said, there's so many helpful people up and down the country that volunteer that will give you the guidance and support. Yeah, just please sign up.
Thank you so much. I have been working with all three of you for many years now. I can definitely see and feel the passion, and I'm sure our listeners can as well. So to all of you, thank you all so much for talking to us today on the podcast. We really appreciate your insight and time. Thank you both, Robert, Kerry, and Tim.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us on.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the PFP podcast. You can find more podcast episodes on the Personal Finance Professionals website, many of which can be recorded as CPD. And a reminder, do email us at podcast@thepfs.org. That's podcasts, plural, @thepfs.org. We'd love to hear your questions and feedback. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, review, and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye.